Hi, welcome to the Feel Good Podcast. I'm Jennifer, Managing Director at Clementine Creative Agency, and I'm here today with Sharon, who's a Marketing Project Manager here at Clementine. Hi, Sharon.
Hey, how's it going?
So today we're going to be talking about the whole idea of local marketing. And I think this is something that people maybe don't think about as often as you might think or find a little surprising, because everything now you talk about digital marketing and everything's online and everything feels very global. And very connected, but local marketing really has never been more important than it is now in 2023.
That's right. More consumers are trying to keep it close to home right now. They're also using their phones and digital devices as their primary discovery engine. So it's really important about how you market locally, but virtually when you're a small business. A few facts on that. Did you know 46% of Google searches are for marketing for local intent?
Wow.
So with search words like near me and close by or within 5 miles. And 97% of users also searched online to find a local business. So
That's interesting, because I think a lot of people think of local businesses as like, oh, well, I know whoever's like on my street or right around me or whatever. And local businesses may not think about the fact that people are actually going online to find them in the first place.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely. Especially when you're a small business, it's really important for you to have updated Google profile and Google Maps. I know, especially when I go to places, I look ahead online for reviews, and me, along with 86% of consumers, use Google Maps to find a local business.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it really shows how important it is for brands of all sizes to be paying attention to how they're marketing to local audiences. I mean, this obviously speaks to local businesses that are nearby, but also, you know, small businesses, entrepreneurs, those kinds of things, but also like big brands that have multiple locations. But how are they sort of honing in and reaching those individual local markets as they go, you know? So I guess the question then really is, what can they do to improve their local marketing efforts? And I think, you know, you mentioned one thing right off the bat that's really important, which is Google Maps. Right.
So Google Maps, I know a lot of people also tend to search on Google Maps for their locality and to see the businesses nearby. They also, more than half of those businesses, it's really easy for you to claim a Google business listing, but half of those are unclaimed. So it's, you know, claim and manage that profile.
Yeah, we tell our clients that all the time, right? Like, claim your profile.
Yeah, and then go ahead and engage with customers as well. So, again, people use those reviews on there, like, you know, 5 stars is the best. You want those positive reviews. So 88% of consumers use those reviews prior to purchasing a product or service.
Yeah. So a great space for businesses to think about how they can cultivate reviews in that space, you know, asking people. I know we've all been places where they hand you a card or there's a QR code or something and they're saying, leave me a review. And that's really why. I mean, it's really core to how people are finding you.
Yeah. And not only that, but if there are certain customers that have redundant questions, you're already answering a main question that someone might have, and you don't have to keep responding or adding new items to your Google profile.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Maps is such a big part of local search for sure, you know, but there is also, if you think about that a little more broadly, you think about just SEO in general and search engines in general, and how do you actually like optimize your website toward local searches. I mean, we all know that coming up as high as possible in those search results is really, really important. And if most of those searches are looking for something local, then, you know, people should be thinking about how they're tuning up that language on their website for their local market, you know? And I think, you know, there was a time when you saw people do a lot of this with that kind of like keyword cramming that gets kind of icky, where there's just a long list of places or city names or things like that. But now to really be effective, you've got to do that in a more sort of organic, contextual way, getting really good high quality content in there, but that talks about your location and really addresses your local market. You know, that could be like a blog or something like that gives you a natural opportunity to create more content that talks about that location. And obviously sort of link building strategies from an SEO perspective that are locally focused can be really powerful in helping you to get found in your local area.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, when you think about search, I guess, then there's always the flip side that's paid search, right? If you actually want to pay to be found, how do you make sure that those ads also are really targeted for local? And I think that's interesting because I think a lot of people do local targeting like on the back end of their ads.
Yes.
Right? They design the campaign and they're targeting a certain local area, but there's not necessarily anything on the front end of the ad that would speak to that market so that somebody knows that it's a local business or knows that it's close to them. So I think it's really important for them to think about, how are you speaking to that specific local market in the copy that you're using or the photos that you're using. Yeah. I mean, I've seen this a lot in the real estate world where you have a builder that builds in a lot of different locations, and there's a, new homes in Atlanta ad that pops up in the feed and it's got like palm trees and all the stuff in the pictures. And it's like,
yeah, that doesn't
don't look like you're from around here,
Right.
So they kind of stand out as not being local, so I think that's something important to think about because it's a chance to resonate with people that you don't want to miss.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of those ads, I know social media is an underutilized tool, especially when it comes to certain demographics. People are missing that a certain demographic will search in social media for local marketing. Yeah. So local search is a hot topic in 2023. And with social media, Instagram has had a new mapping feature at the end of 2022. So what's cool is you can filter by category. You can use local businesses will post real stories, images, and then that way you can see the full experience. If you're a restaurant, for example, you see the experience of the ambiance and the food. So all of those, and you can see close by businesses as well. So it's easier to search in that new function that Instagram provides.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram map and I think it's really very cool. It's a very different space. And I think, we know that younger demographics in particular prefer to go to social media first rather than going to, we think about search and we think first about Google.
Right.
But that's not what everyone uses. And I thought it was really interesting that they've clearly seen the importance of local search, like sort of as a trend, that they've put this function in place to do it. And it's pretty cool to like scroll around and see what everybody's doing nearby.
That's right. And also it can be really simple. When you just post content on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you're just location tagging.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we just forget to tag where we're at, what's close by. And that'll pop up once you click on that location. Anything within that surrounding area can pop up within Instagram or Facebook as well. On top of that, make sure your keywording again is it's important when you're doing voice search, which a lot of people do nowadays on their phone. Make sure you have alternative text as well, so it can pop up again.
Voice search is something that's gotten very, very popular. It's something that kind of started as an accessibility feature, but has just kind of gotten popular for everyone because it's easier to use and people are always on the go and talking into their phone, and so they're using it a lot. And I think a lot of people do forget about the keywording angle on social media, but Instagram and Facebook both have added sort of keyword search capabilities. So like the things that you're writing in those captions, those are all opportunities to like work in your local keywords so that people are going to find you.
That's true.
I think the good news about that is that none of that's really too hard to do. It's not, there's not a lot of cost involved, or it's not very complex. You really just have to have a little bit of strategic thinking behind it and take the time to kind of step back and think about what you're doing. Obviously, you have to have a little bit of digital know-how to get in some of those places. But in the end, if you just spend a little bit of time kind of thinking about the local market and what someone near you would be looking for, you can, implement some of those things that are really, really simple and end up with a big payoff, because lots of customers are going to find you and they're going to be local customers, which are more likely to, be repeat customers and sort of spread the word and help you just keep building out that footprint for your brand.
That's true. Yeah. And when you're starting out as a small business, instead of trying to throw money at a big mass social media campaign, you can just start out slow with, again, just thinking through how you're going to approach your local market and just making sure, again, content tagging and just doing those easy things like creating a Google business profile and Google Maps and just running it and making sure you're responding to reviews and things like that.
Yeah. I think that goes for paid too. If you're doing paid advertising, and you're a smaller business or a smaller brand, you can definitely start on that local front with localized campaigns and localized keywords. We've seen that be very effective.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people are sometimes intimidated by the paid side because they think that they have to spend a lot of money
Right.
to make any difference. But if you're kind of smart about the way that you tune things in to that very specific group that you're trying to reach, then you can do it like really cost effectively, I think, and really kind of resonate with that very specific audience and have the opportunity to show them, that you're there and you're in their neighborhood and you're part of the same community, and that really is a great way to sort of build trust and
Absolutely.
investment in your brand, whatever it may be. Any final thoughts, any words of wisdom?
I just think that local marketing, again, like we know, is a really easy demographic to target, and again, it's just an affordable way to approach your business strategy when marketing.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think local marketing is something that's really, really simple and close to home. So important for people to think about it and not get lost in the wider web of the of the internet, which is easy to do sometimes. Cool. Well, thanks for being here today, Sharon. And thanks to everyone for listening to the Feel Good podcast. Just remember, you can check out our past episodes anywhere that you get your podcasts or on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe and get notifications for future episodes.